Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Michael Pina Senior Show. It's April 7th, 2018, and this is episode 30. Listen, we're going to get right into it with Mount Ida's most famous alumnus making a quote. That would be Gary Vaynerchuk. Yes, he's a graduate of Mount Ida College. Okay, listen, he said, stop complaining, stop making excuses, nobody's listening. And this goes out to all you Mount Ida students out there. You've got fucking time. That's from Gary V. All right, listen, we bring this up today. Like I said, it's April 7th, 2018. And if you haven't read the paper or watched the news, an extraordinary thing has happened, unfortunately. My son is a Mount Ida College student. That's where he goes to school. He goes to school there with a lot of friends, his girlfriend. And the school just shut down. Okay, they just plain old are shutting down the doors. And they've got a lot of kids scrambling, a lot of parents pissed off, including yours truly. You know, it's very difficult to even put into words what to say and how you could feel as a parent. I mean, we talk about college education a lot on this show. We talk about, you know, being prepared and planning and staying out of debt and all this other stuff. But this is something that you couldn't, I've never heard of this before in my entire life. I mean, I guess that they were $70 million in debt. And, you know, we talk about staying debt-free and staying out of debt. I'd like to know who their advisors are and who was helping them with money. Because this is a college that, you know, it costs $48,000 a year to go there. And I should know. I'm one that's paying. And, you know, they were bought out by UMass Amherst. And now these kids are scrambling to figure out where to go to school. And it's just not a good situation for anybody. And, you know, I bring up Gary Vaynerchuk because, and especially like I feel like I'm talking to the college students, including my son, who, you know, just lo and behold, tomorrow night, we're gonna be doing a podcast show together. So I didn't plan it that way. We've been planning this podcast. If you've been following me on Instagram and Twitter and, you know, my Pina Financial Coaching on Facebook, you know, I've been planning this a long time. But we're going to talk to him about this. I mean, now here's a kid that's going to be going through a struggle. And, you know, he's got a 4.0 GPA at this school. So it's not, this kid isn't somebody that's, you know, by any means, you know, doing bad in school. And you know, a lot of kids doing very well. He loved the small college setting, very close to Boston. And he was a starting quarterback there. So they were having spring practice, and now they just cut out spring practice. There is no football season next year. There is no school next year. And this is a school that's been around for 100 years that have just shut their doors. So, you know, and I believe, and I talk about college education, I told you about student debt if you watch any of my previous shows, $1.48 trillion of student debt is out there right now. And these private institutions, I told you how much, you know, Mount Ida is. And I told my son straight out, you're going to a state school now. You got to look at a state school because the state schools is going to cost us about 20 grand, maybe 25 tops to go to a state school. And with his, you know, merit money, they call it, which is like a scholarship, it's going to cost me a fraction of what we were paying at a private school, but you don't need that private education. So this isn't going to be the first private school to fall. I mean, LaSalle College, who Mount Ida was rumored to be combining with, I think they'll be the next one to go down. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dean College go down. I mean, these schools are 50 grand to go to for a private school that, in all honesty, here's the situation. And I hope that if you're young, you're listening to me, and even your parents that are thinking of kids going to college, you don't need to pay for a private institution and come out with student debt. I mean, like I said to my son yesterday, if he goes to Bridgewater State, or now he got a call from the Worcester State coach, you know, maybe he'll be going to Worcester State next year. I don't know. I mean, at this point right now, we got no clue. But, you know, You go to Worcester State, let's say, and he graduates. Worcester State's $20,000 to go to, by the way. You know, he graduates with the same degree from Worcester State as he would have from Mount Ida. He ain't making any more money. I'll tell you what the difference is. In 3 to 4 years or 3 to 5 years, maybe less, a kid going to Worcester State is buying a home, is getting on in life, is debt-free. You know what the kid at Mount Ida or these private institutions are being hung with? They've got student debt. They've got $200,000 of student debt hanging around their neck. They can't even buy a house. You know why? Because they're paying for an institution that didn't even give them an education that's equal or more than the one that's from the state college. Okay? You're making the exact same amount of money as your buddy that went to Worcester State, but guess what the difference is? The kid at Worcester State's buying a house while you're trying to pay back your student loan. It's a crock of shit, and I'm pissed off, and it is pissing me off. The education system in America is broke. It is absolutely 100% broke. And now here I am, a parent that has paid for this, and what have I paid for? Nothing. Mount Ida, if you're listening to me, we paid for nothing. My kid got nothing from your institution except for a time, got to spend time and meet friends. And you know what? I'm wearing this in representation of my son, Mustang Pride, because those kids deserve more than what you gave them. Those kids deserve more than what you look at what it is. It's April 7th. What are these kids going to do? I guess UMass Dartmouth has promised them to, they could go to school there. But I mean, my son don't want to go to UMass Dartmouth. You absolutely screwed over these kids. Absolutely screwed over these parents that have paid into this. I mean, there is no veterinarian system. That's what Mount Ida was famous for. These vets that got 1 year left to get that certificate, or the funeral system there that they have, they are screwed. And all the money that they've paid to you, to your institution, it's not right. It's not what should be happening right now. But you know what? It is. So I was able to get a little bit off my chest right now. But I mean, look it. You people, you young people at Mount Ida College, and I hope that you're watching this and you're listening to this, listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. You were born into this world as a human being. And as he says, and I love it, it changed my life in a lot of ways. You got a 400 trillion to 1 shot at being a human being. I mean, think about those odds. You got a better chance of winning the lottery, as he says. 400 trillion to 1. All right, you've got one life to live. Don't let this ruin your life. Don't let this set you back to a point where you say, you know what, I'm going to give up on shit. Because you know what? You can't complain. You got to move forward. You are young. You've got time. And you know what? I love an interview that Gary Vaynerchuk has with a young person that's 20, 21 years old. And he tells them, you know what you've got? And that's where this quote comes from. You've got fucking time. All right? You've got time. You could screw up for the next 10 years and still be young. All right? You're not an old man, 49 years old, trying to see what you screwed up in life and trying to fix it. No, you've got time. All right? So don't let Mount Ida take away, something that you have. You've got time. Take it as a learning opportunity. I told my son the same thing. Let this be something that's opening up new doors. Don't look at it as something that's slamming a door in your face. Take it as something that a new door has now opened. You've got a new chapter in your life. Reach for the stars, because I mean, the reason why my son picked Mount Ida and Coach Mike Landers was fantastic and great, and I feel bad for the staff there. At first, I was a little upset with Coach Landers, thinking, how couldn't he know about this? But you know what? They were in the dark too. And I know that. So Coach Landers, we appreciate everything. And you're one of the biggest reasons why my son picked that school. And Coach Landers says, we're going to be a family. We're going to put together a family. And that is what I felt, and I felt so safe and so happy that my son was part of a family and a dynamic that, it can't be replicated. And it's unfortunate that this has happened. And I don't think I've ever seen or heard of this in my life, but I got a feeling that this isn't going to be the first. So you know what? like my page at Peanut Financial Coaching. You'll be able to hear right from, live from my son, Michael Pina Jr., the last starting quarterback in Mount Ida history. Okay, he is the last starting quarterback in Mount Ida history. Download Podbean. You'll be able to hear him and listen to the podcast that he'll be part of. Move forward, Mount Ida. Move forward, Mount Ida students. We love you. I'm thinking of you. You need any help, get in touch with me. I'll do whatever I can. Coach P 2210 at yahoo.com. All right. This was a different kind of episode, but it had to be said. Catch my son live. It's going to be a great interview, like my page at Peanut Financial Coaching. That's going to be tomorrow night. So like my page at Peanut Financial Coaching. We got to help him out. We got to listen to him. We got to hear what he's got to say. We'll talk to you soon.